Today, Rinpoche continued his discussion on the section of the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment entitled Ascertaining the Nature of the Path Leading to Liberation. He went over the 11 categories of the kind of life needed to halt cyclic existence again, and then began the new section on the kind of path needed to halt cyclic existence.
Ya tanga to chibindi ka to yimba chibindi saji jiga nana jiba taba driba lanji raji tena po mariba taba to nilo ngo zunga te chibi tab tene nekare tene jiba kasa tab Jeba taba driven, large resident of the Saji Jeba draw. Jeba taba driven, large resident of the La. Jeba taba driven, large resident of the Nimba. Then Chitabu Quad Lam. Okay. Quad Dubi. Quad Dubavus. The near the Lari. Saji Kundo.
Lamrim Saji. Okay.
Saji Kundo.
Giant Shiva Yoma. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, we're looking at Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, specifically the section training the mind in the stage of the path shared in common with beings of medium capacity. When we look at that section, there are 4 categories. We're actually in the 4th category, which is ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberation. So that's where we're going to begin today. And when we look at that 4th category among the in that section on training the mind in the stage of the path shared in common with beings of medium capacity, we'll find 2 categories. First, the kind of life you lead in order to halt cyclic existence. And then the second category is the path, the kind of path you cultivate to halt cyclic existence. So these are the 2 categories we find in category number 4. And just as a translator's note, the first category, mental training; second, measure of the determination to be free; third category, dispelling misconceptions; and now this 4th category, ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberation, and its 2 categories. And that's according to Lama Tsongkhapa's outline, his own personal outline, not Jayan Sheba's.
Oh yeah. Tanga so de tela ten jetabu ko duba na la jetabu ko duba ni marba. Ten jetabu ko duba tela. Ten jetabu ko duba tela ni ma ten jetabu ko duba tela. Ana wate ten jetabu ko duba ro.
Lasa.
Ten jetabu ko duba na la jetabu shi ko duba. Tombola juji imba. Ten jetabu ko duba tela. Anan jang ji saji juji de ro.
Lasa.
Saji juji ro juji. Juji da gado chin sa de da da ma. Ya ja ru chin sha ga.
Okay. Lasa.
Anan ju de ko se ya bang ngan je.
Okay. Lasa.
Da ko bun ke go de ten ka ne go res ten mar ten jetabu ko duba. Ten jetabu ko duba sana mo ko bi je ten la na ko do to go ko bon to ma res mo ko bi je dan tai ten go res o de le de mar ba to mo te yu je ten to bi tu de do go ba ne sa shi ding lo mo ko bi je dan de mar ba shi ding de ba Tom the shitty list not just a book or to potential to book to but Talero.
Lessa.
Then just a book or to but the Chuchi member.
We're going to begin looking again at this section on ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberation. The two categories are the kind of life through which you halt cyclic existence and the kind of path you cultivate to halt cyclic existence. So when we look at Jayan Sheva's commentary, when we look at the kind of life through which you halt cyclic existence, we'll find that there are 11 categories. This is where we're going to begin today.
Gombe doba wo tamben shetin marbe
the ship sar
nan tamdro
okay
shetin les loba tawan je dan to nyes eda ni da nyawa chewa dan jayu kame ba tagu do lalu je dan lan ko ba ni serin la ni kayo ro wa ni chewa sheje mo ne je bo tada tan de khomba ni ne 저 두빌해도 매번 주 세송 받다를 단주 두비 튠들 도고데스 뭐콤비 제게된래 코아본투 마도투 마레스 단주 두비된 도고데 뭐콤바네 두비 거메비스 뭐콤비 제게된라 코아두비 거요 마레스 제게된라 뭐 코아두비 거메비스
So there are 11 categories in this section, the kind of life through which you halt cyclic existence. And basically what this means is it's referring to the basis that is needed to actually become liberated, to stop cyclic existence. What kind of basis is needed? So one needs to be free of the leisureless states. So when we look at the different categories, and then we'll find a quote from Nagarjuna's letter to a friend, there are 8 categories of leisureless states. These are necessary to be free from in order to have an adequate, appropriate basis for halting cyclic existence. So when we say the kind of life, it's referring to the basis needed, the vessel, the kind of, it's almost like the kind of person one needs to be in order to halt cyclic existence. So in the 11 categories of Jayan Sheva's commentary, the first category is this actual quote from Nagarjuna's letter to a friend. So everybody, we're on page 335 in the English. So it says, ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberation has 2 parts. The kind of life through which you halt cyclic existence, and then 2, the kind of path through which you cultivate to halt cyclic existence. So number 1, the kind of life through which you halt cyclic existence. And then now this begins the first category of Jayan Sheva's commentary. The friendly letter, or letter to a friend. This is by Lord Nagarjuna. To be reborn with wrong views or without a conqueror's word, or as an animal, a hungry ghost, a hell being, an uncultured person in a border region, a stupid and mute person, or a deity of long life, is to be afflicted by one of the 8 faults that are conditions which lack leisure. After you have attained leisure, which is freedom from these rebirths, strive to end birth. It is not possible to stop birth and cyclic existence if you have no time. Therefore, you must have obtained a life of leisure and opportunity. You must stop it. So this is, I have already explained this. So this is point number 1.
네 다른 가서 어때 돈을 쳐봐지 두서레스 부두 전에 장 하트 상시 참발라 라로 마존자나 네 타야 라로 뭐 도고소스 코알레워데 도마마반 뭐 창사르데 워도 코도도요 말에 다른 마도나 야자 네 워데 야자 코알코 지구제레스 도고자 두비투장 다른 단주 투비 먹고 버지던 때 단주 투비 Tundi yin song sabat bat ni bare.
Okay, so number 2, we find a quote from the yogic master Shanchup Rinchen in Potawa. The great yogi Shanchup Rinchen said, "Now is the time to make ourselves different from domestic animals." So here we need to act differently. We need to utilize this basis this basis, because a domestic animal is in a leisureless state. So we should, since we have a basis of leisure, we should take advantage of it. And then we have a quote from Potawa. It says, Geshe Potawa, "For as long as we have wandered through cyclic existence in the past, it has not stopped by itself. Given this, it will not stop by itself now either. Hence we must put a stop to it, and the time to do so is today, when we have obtained leisure and opportunity." So we've been through beginningless rebirths, and we've done this again and again, and we haven't been able to stop cyclic existence. So we will definitely have to have this experience again if we don't put a stop to it. So it will not stop itself. Therefore, because we have this basis of leisure and opportunity, we need to utilize this moment now in order to stop it, because we can.
Kwa dubi tene rajun chudo chube kebe radu shumala ngoba gawa shawos kebe radu shumala ngoba gawa shawo chimbi juan da radu shum yueten yang san da ba ina sena nga radu shum na jenes chimbi juan da radu shum yueten mo san da ba ina radu shum chulo wa de rajun ki san lu tembe res radu ma jun kan chulo Jemal Basha Janugres, Chimbi Jun Rodushun Yutan Samba Ne, Rodushun Nachines, Chabata Anzulagoro, Nachine, Samba Tempa Julas, Rodu Majun Nachine, Zombie Bacha Jujis, Rodu Majun Chimbatsuke Oden Santabaina, and Basha Zomba Janugres, Jujin. Sebar Ju, Pacha Zomba Jujin, Pacha Zomba Sebar Ju, Ti Junzi, Joba Shawos, what is it? Tatala, Chimba Njuna, Sun Yun Baby, Dungela, Una Ne, Tu Dungaji, Shatayu, Doa Meba La Mune, Doan Zimbane, Linga Binjabo. Shebashate, Cheroles, Jonanda Chinlane, Naya de Wama Senshi, Shukanyana, Yuan Tama Yunda Rendua, Yuan, China Neba, Neduche, Chine, Sun Yamula Shubuina, Jalasun Dunga Yuares, Neba Jubuina, Neba, Chu Shatangos. Jala Manga to what Jala Yun said the Kalayoda Shugan Yana Yuan Rong Kana Dewa Mejoba Telagawa Mobane Dibi Jeb Mebani Sheson Sos Ne Kui the Dewa the Santan to get what the Dibi Jeb made there is Ti Sher Yuji Moban Zimbatan Chu Mesheba Chuba ne Radu Shuma Shamares. Jen Dona Chimbata, Chimabanju, what about Sumbare?
That's so. So now we move on to number 3, which points out the excellent qualities of the life where one has gone forth or become ordained compared to that of a householder. So this is all number 3. For those who have attained a life of leisure and opportunity, dwelling Hold on one second, I just want to match my notes up. Okay, for those who have attained a life of leisure and opportunity, dwelling in a household presents many obstacles to the practice of religion and has numerous shortcomings. However, the life of a renunciate, being the opposite of that, is the very best for stopping cyclic existence. The wise therefore should delight in such a life. Repeated reflection on the faults of householders and the virtues of renunciates will lead those who have already become renunciates to have a firm attitude, while leading those who have not yet become renunciates to develop good inclinations to become renunciates and the like, and then act on them. I will explain how this is so. So here, first it's stating that by repeatedly analyzing the downfalls of a life in cyclic existence as a householder, and then repeatedly analyzing the excellent qualities of the life of someone who has gone forth or become ordained, two things can occur. First, someone who has already gone forth will strengthen that attitude. So their attitude of renunciation, or this desire to emerge, will strengthen, become stronger. And for those who have not yet gone forth, it will leave imprints. So these good inclinations are referring to predispositions or imprints that in the future will ripen into this life of someone who has gone forth or become ordained. So this word "going forth" is used over and over again in the Tibetan, which it's using renunciate, which is kind of different when you look at the words in English. Renunciation is a kind of a different word than going forth. The renunciation, if you, just as a note, look at it literally, is the desire to definitely get out. And Rapjung, which is they're using renunciates, which is, they're really referring to someone who's become ordained. It means someone who's gone forth. So one is renunciation refers to wanting to definitely get out, and this is referring to going forth into the position to definitely get out. So it's actually a little bit of a different word, so I'm sorry if I took too long with that, but I just want to make it clear what words are being used in here and why. So to leave imprints, so in the future one will wish to become ordained. It says, and then act on them. So one will have this desire and then become ordained as a result of this repeated reflection on the faults of a householder's life and the excellent qualities of one who has become ordained. And then it says, householders, if they are wealthy, suffer in their efforts to protect that wealth, and if poor, suffer from exhaustion brought about by seeking wealth. In this way, they lead confused lives that have no pleasure, and they imagine these lives to be pleasurable. Understand that this misconception is the result of bad karma. And then now we have a quote from the Garland of Birth Stories. Sometimes it's called the Jataka Tales, or the Jataka Mala, I think is the Sanskrit. So it says, never consider. So now this quote supports all of the points that Lama Tsongkhapa made. So it's a summary of everything Lama Tsongkhapa just went over. It says, never consider as pleasurable the household which is like a prison. Whether they are rich or poor, those who dwell in households are greatly ailing. One undergoes afflictions by guarding wealth, while the other becomes exhausted by seeking it. Whether they are rich or poor, they have no happiness. The confusion that delights in this householder's existence is merely the consequence of sin. If one is rich, then one is constantly worried about someone taking their things, so taking their wealth, so they have to guard it. If one's poor, they are constantly trying to obtain it and seek it out. So either state is a state of suffering. And then it says, the confusion that delights in householders' existence is merely the consequence of sin. So what this is saying is this attitude, or this idea that the householder's existence is good, is a result of non-virtue. Previous non-virtue has caused this misconception, caused this confusion to take place. Then Kabar Kagaduram Sheikh. Therefore, keeping the Geraldong Okay. Therefore, keeping many possessions and discontentedly seeking more is not the business of renunciates. If they were, they would not differ from the householders.
Yeah. Jiba lowell chimbal ranshu chudang gay neba yogares, Yutan the Rajun Malajagures, what Jiba Tang doserta. Jaya, China never the chudang gay use, Ranshu chudang gay neba yogares, chudangi, Tere chudruba cadis, China never the chudruba calicabures, Chirotaniles, change Sunan Shena ne. Jundu Mama Morojis, Chimbi Legajina Jazimajiba Toyo Mares, Nepari Nebajibala, Nadu Majamron was Parijun and Laichi, Kati Majina Jires, and the Kete Chuju Chinji Sunan Churu, Chuju Chinji Sunan Churu, Chin La Shuna, Chujan Kalanjuros, Kalandu, Chuji Lene. Radu Shava Yens, and the Chinji Duna, Trashu Jenju, She Chudan, Gi Jun Yubishir, Chimbala Chudan, Raju Gi Jun Yubishir, Dala Pendu, and Dala Pendu Sushi, Dala Pembandu Sushi, and the China Negamares, She Danza. Jedanga Jetamu, Druji Tang, and Radu Shiva Gayu Denjiba Dogen Mazi Mabi Najuchin Kondandrawa Sushi Neba Sheshe Sonsos Tetabula Soba China Nebi Junyayang Sanla Radu Shungal Mabashaw Jibare Tabatu Rajulo Timbal Jumo Yurtain Sonsa. And then what the Rajun Abbe, Rodjun Malajagur, Seshama Pangile, and the Rodjun Malajagures. So what about the Jibare?
So now we move on to number 4, which is pointing out the need to make aspirations to have this take place. So to lead a life of the ordained, someone who has gone forth. Furthermore, since living in a household is at odds with religion, it is difficult to practice religion there. The same text states, if you do the business of the household, it is unfeasible to refrain from speaking falsely. So if one lives the life of a householder, speaking words that aren't true is difficult to refrain from, and it is unfeasible not to punish others who do wrong. If you practice religion, householder pursuits suffer. If you attend to the household, how can you practice religion? Religious activity is peaceful. A householder's aims are achieved through ruthlessness. Therefore, because of the flaw of being at odds with religion, who desiring to help themselves would live in a household? A household is a nest of vipers, such as arrogance, pride, and delusion. It destroys tranquility and the bliss of happiness, and is a place of many unbearable sufferings. Who would stay in a place so similar to a snake pit? Contemplate again and again the defects of dwelling in a household, and aspire to the life of a renunciate. In reference to this, renunciates are content. Let me see. There's a page here. That's it. Dwelling in a household and aspire to the life of a renunciate. Then. Okay, Rabdjun Mebasho. Okay.
This way.
She's Dayan Chuna. Okay. Lap. Yabu Lapsam.
Tangaba Tenama was the road to Shonga and Doba Chunga Chu Sheba than the Gugures, and then Doba Chua, the Chu Mashiba, then the Jena Trabadan, and the Abu Mares, or the Tang of those on it. They are Chugu Don Jose and went down, Sunuji, Chu Shishin, Embaraki, Numu Bajane, Jenji, Sheba Lambanes, Je ne m'adjuge toujours les, Jeune m'a dit du tout les jeune m'a dit c'est pas j'avais tout que c'est ça de ça mais what que c'est ça de road je vois il je tana très bien ne shadow treje ko changshin gomba yu de ba ne naji te tar jo shi ko nyashin kan sa ta shin sai longze to ne jeme chin ne chin do ne naji lomo shue ba juro ne da ko de cha me jin nyamu tsimi na za ta ne jungwa shi jin zhong shi ji yin bi ne su na ji juro she song ba ta ro de ba do nga ba re nga ba wo de ra chong an de ba chu do ba chung wa de chu she ba gu res do ba chi wa chu ma she ba ya ba yo ma res wo de ma te deng du song de
ngapa the long sar ngapa tsar.
nga ba do de long she song ba ta ro su nga ba san de an zhu ba len do.
Okay. So number 5, contemplate. In reference to this, renunciates are content with alms, simple religious robes, and alms bowls. In solitude, they remove their afflictions and aspire to become objects of others' veneration, as it says in Guya Datta's edifying tale of the 7 maidens. So this is there was a king who had 7 sisters who all went forth, became ordained. And so this is what that's referring to. When will we thus come to shave our hair, don clothes from the garbage and seek solitude, gazing ahead only a yoke's length? When will we, blameless, take in our hands earthen alms bowls, and from the household to household partake of alms, attached to neither material gain nor veneration, cleaning up the bramble swamps of the afflictions? When will we become recipients of the townspeople's donations? So this is where number 5 ends.
Ta druba dana ma wadare druba ne tene ta dazu kato nga zu kato ta shui de ba doba chungwa ta chu she ba zara traba ta anu su doba chungwa chu she ba gu se de randon res ranga dönda ina doba chungwa ta chu she ba gu res jen ji dön ina doba chewa ta chu mu she ba wo ku jen le pen go ro ta no wa te doba chungwa chu she ba ta je ba ina jen le she la pen to yo ma ro
So now we've moved on to number 6. Number 5 points out the limited needs of the one who has gone forth, one who is ordained. And then number 6, the Ngapa Drupa, the Chapagare, the Yanje Gonga Mepa Chigrimche.
Drupa do what is the Drupa?
Drupa don't.
Te
Oh, the Gonga Mepa Chigrimche. Yeah. Sorry, everyone. So number 6 shows how the one who is ordained, when looking at satisfying one's own aims or needs, and then satisfying others' needs, the one who is dwelling as one who is ordained has little desires for themselves, but then wishes for others to have everything. So this is a point that's being made in number 6. Decent.
What the Druba Tenma Tenaka Jambi and Del Goa to the Tengadus, the Jambi and the Juniors and the one who had the raw Jambi and the Juni. And then what in the Meten Sally Shebala, Lago Meba Neus, and the Ten Taji, then Jinsa Taji, and the Lago Meba Kamba Meba, Lago Meba Neu, Lago Kamba Meba, the Tongue on the neighbor Ina, Grupa Mejoa dance. And the Shuki down to Sulu Lumba Chate, Kamba Mena, what the Tulu Lemba Changro, what is on there? Good Pame Jawa dance, what the Tulu Chut goes on Tulu Jibichagrota, Zatung Namutan Chusheba, Satung Namutan Chusheba, Tasuzu Tugu Jazzi, Chusheba Jegures, 내면 신루다스 나 캄바메 바지 네 신루우데야 캄바메즈 신루우데디 말에 신루도 짠장불라 취지도 유주신 니와라 편바네스 자유통례 라네네 자유통례 라네네 밤에 지유 거다당 쇼길로 돌을 받쳐도 거다당 세금양은 자진에 세던 통차 통화도 두고 자시 자는 나지 일rel라 참여주로서 네 수수를 를 잡아매 봐 신루도 안에 캄바메 소소네 신루를 돼야지 신루 신루 나주 따라 잠베 신루 나주 따라 잠베스 네 신호보만 나주서는 등가서 신도사등의 신하질 되는 거 나주 호보로 돼 어디 신루도 호보만 나주 따라 잠베스 네 구이
장고
장고에 들어 장고 도안장비 그중에다 도안장부 짠장부기 그제다 통주디 가든다 통주라 도안내비 가든다 나지 다는 예반조로 셰송바타로 데바돌들에 주바즈바
그래서 그룹 네 인지의 장고 네 덤바 네 see something there the jungle the shati jungle
dumba bodoa
then dumba that's a dumba lesson the long the kadok jungle the shati
jungle 나초스 노테
okay yeah
다가도 요구는 사는 거지 뭐도 그 괜히 신도나 버려
lesser
어디 example 잡고
oh okay lesser so now we're on number 7 the Dumba Rinpoche
듬바로 어때서도 다 듬바 되는 마 안에 듬바
the long side the long alley the
듬바로 어때
long drupa
구미 면란들 하바네 구미 면란들 하바스 저부터 봐 고만수고 어때 면란나지 로존제고 그래서 듬바는 못해 되는 것도 사 안에 듬바는 맞다 어때 부도와 카도도 카와차네스 부도와 가담비 신에 부도와 카도도 카와잖아 캄바도 캄보바 이제로 카 아이스 차네 돈은 저는 뒤지 도주네 셰바단 라와시 숑유 가와시 숑스 부도와로데 체질 카와탄이 말 카와탄들로데 캄바돌 가바보들 다리는 저는 뒤지 도주 나신 숑데 센지부 종송스 셰벤 라와시 숑유 가와 숑신스 tadabashi nyansu lan doba tadabashi lan doba meba jeme bishiro jeme ngosa wad nyala tan jari abram tan jeme nyala jayo mares son dos wad batu tumbatre
then the kanga nyamdu the jango dan the kanga
jango tamale
Dumba. Okay, so now we've got it straightened out. Number 6 is renunciates are content with mere food and drink and with clothes heavy with frost from sleeping without a roof over their heads in bedding made of grass. So when there isn't a roof in the morning when the dew is there, it causes moisture. So that's what it's referring to. They aspire to sleep in their place on soft grass in front of a tree, nurtured by the happiness and joy of the teaching. So it's the Dharma that actually gives them so much joy that it's like nurturing them. Even though these conditions are as such, the Dharma brings them joy. As it is said in the edifying tale of the 7 maidens, when will I become unattached to my body, rising from a pile of grass, clothing heavy with frost, and taking only a humble food and drink? When will I, clothed in soft grass, green like the parrot, lie down in front of a tree, with a banquet of the blissful things of this life? And then, so that's number 6. And number 7 is Potawa's quote. The very night after snow fell on the roof of the house, I became happy because something like this occurred in the edifying tale of the 7 maidens. I want nothing other than to practice in this way. And then Dumba Kabarka renunciates. Renunciates aspire to dwell in a meadow or on the bank of a river, reflecting on the similarity between their own bodies and lives and arising and disintegration of the waves. Bless her. Bless her.
Jeba Medun Dan and Jeba Medun the Chu Monsu Nene, Medun the Chu Monsu Nene, Shinan about the Chu Satavala, Monsu Nene, Chulo Jinji Shebatan, Chu Lot was Jinji Jewatan Jiba Shigarota, Mataba, Ranki Lusuni, Dawa Sembadans, Chu Lot Jinji Shene, Mataba Najin, and the Ranki Lut Sutu Galo, Mataba Res, Mataba Sembatan, Sibizawa, Tangan Tanji, Jiji Datun Zimba Susutubi, Shiroji, Gujins, and the Sibizawa, Kuizawa, Chuna, the Batubas with Denzit Marva, Chuna, the Batubas with Denzit, or the Kuizawaro, and the Sibizawa, Tangan, and the Tangan Tanji, Jiji, Tangan Tanji Zawa, and then the Batubas with Denzit, Datun Zimba, the Nebo, Susu to be Shero, Chuna, the Maruba to be Susu to be Shero, Tony to be Shero, Susu to be Shero, J. Gojins, Chuna, the Maruba to be Shero, the Gay, the Batubas with Denzin Gurumatu, Jendam Gutu Marwa. Taba drew my embassy with Lu, Taba dreams to look to Gurumatu, Jendam Gutu Marwa. Then I Chuna, the Maruba to Lu, Chuna, the Batubas with Denzin, Dazin to Gures. Sibizawa, Tangan Tanji, Jiji, Datun Zimba, Susu to be Sheroji, Gojins, Chuna, the Maruba to be Sheroji Gures. Sibi Gadilla Shamba, Sibi Gadilla Shamba Lubatan, Sibi Gawatan Dewala, Shamba Lubatans, Sibi Gawatan Dewala, what the Junuma Kaza, Puji Yomale Nangabanjone, Najin, Sibi Gawatan Dewata Zule, what the Shamba Lubatan the Jonsuna, Nanu Samba Yungu Jeroa, Lubatan, Henju Jinjidena, Juma Sultan, Drawa Yanto, Hebanes, and then Henju Nursana Quad de Sacha del Marva, Nerje, Jidensana, Tende Quapazu. Tazukalo Jumatan Rawa, Matabares, Madat Rawa Yanto, Sembala Hebanesa, Naji Chung, Henjun Sos, Chu Satvale, and the Shinato, the Rio Satabal Dene, Nene, Chulon Junji Tans, Chu Lot Sabal Reatan, God Reatan, or the Santana, Tenaji Susu Luda sent to the Mataba, Santan Kursun de Sare. Chu Jiden, Nendawa, Yanta Yanto, Tawa Juro, Tawa Kunji, Machubi, Jitu, Tawan Jimbatan, Sibil Monshe Mandeba, Dan Naji, Yoshiko, Malam Hejo, Jomati, Tesi, Jonche Tumbane, Jodan, Meju, Jiden Ta, Naji Tuba Sheba Joshe, son des, and Tetanji, Ten Rod Shone, Shawata Sheba La, Hamba Sheba was, what then Mataka Dancing, Chuna the Batman with the Kuzaro, Tekayate, Chuna they meant to be Sheroke, Kagubat, they meant to be Shero Julie Jage, what to Mano Jagobate, Tenmaten was She's on the Tetanji Jitensa, Chuna the Bamaruba to Shero de Ten, Rod Shuma Shene, Shawata Shebala, Hamba Sheba Osa. Rod Shone, and the dancing in Yabuchuna, Deva Maruba Gumba Shus Manata Chut Tang Dusum, Jebat.
And the Lungsar, Jepatsar.
Jebat, what the Batsan of Jeba. Jebat, what the Hamba Sheba was. That check out she what in the Gubale on top.
Oh, okay. So we'll do Tuche. So now we move on to number 8. I just have to clarify the order of numbers. I think I read one sentence in for too far for number 7, which is only Potawa's quote, number 7. Number 8, renunciates aspire to dwell in a meadow or on the bank of a river, reflecting on the similarity between their own bodies and lives and the arising and disintegration of waves. So here, this section is going to speak of this aspiration, making aspirations to be able to recognize impermanence, but really what one is aspiring to is to have the wisdom realizing selflessness, to have the wisdom realizing the lack of true establishment of all phenomena. So not only are our bodies and lives impermanent, but they are also not truly established. So they aspire to stop by means of discerning wisdom the conception of self, the root of cyclic existence and the creator of all bad views. They aspire to overcome their obsession with the pleasures of cyclic existence. So here, this is referring to generating renunciation. They generate a desire to definitely emerge by this reflection. And it says, and to reflect on the animate and inanimate world as being like a magician's illusions. So here, they aspire. So here, this aspiration is what it's speaking of here. They make aspirations to be able to overcome this this attitude that likes cyclic existence, and then they are able to recognize that all things are not truly established. Let's see here. So let me just do there's a commentary in here. So one needs to generate this wisdom realizing emptiness. In order to generate it, one needs to analyze again and again the lack of true establishment of all phenomena. This is the only thing that will serve as an opponent to the misconception that sees the I as being truly established, sees all phenomena as being truly established. So this grasping at all phenomena as being truly established is the root of cyclic existence. And the only opponent which will eradicate this misconception is the wisdom realizing the lack of true establishment of all phenomena. Just like the comparison to the mistaken idea when one walks into a dark room and mistakes a rope for a snake. The only thing which will get rid of that misconception is understanding that it's a rope. So likewise, the only thing that will get rid of the misconception that grasps at all phenomena as being truly existent is realizing that all phenomena are necessarily not truly existent, are not truly established, are necessarily selfless. So the wisdom realizing the selflessness of all phenomena, the lack of true establishment of all phenomenon, serves as an opponent to that which is the root of cyclic existence. So this section deals with making aspirations to be able to generate that wisdom that will ultimately be able to stop cyclic existence. And also within that, one has to have this desire to emerge from it in order for the whole process to happen. So here it's saying the main point, the aside is developing renunciation, but the main point is developing, making aspirations to develop that wisdom, discerning wisdom, realizing emptiness. So then it says, then we have another quote from the edifying tale of the seven maidens. When dwelling on a river bank or in a meadow, will we come to see again and again that the rising and falling of waves in the world of this life are similar? So here it's speaking of the impermanence of the things of this life, and saying again and again, reflecting again and again on the impermanence of the things of this life. When will we rid ourselves of the view of the perishing aggregates, or the reifying view of the perishing aggregates, the mother of all bad views, and not crave the enjoyments of cyclic existence? So when will we have the wisdom realizing the lack of true establishment of self? It says the mother of all bad views. So the grasping at the true establishment of self is the mother of all bad views, and not crave the enjoyments of cyclic existence. When will we come to know that the animate and inanimate worlds are like dreams, hallucinations, a magician's illusion, clouds, or a city of the Gandharvas? All of these persons lived as renunciates while at the same time aspiring to these higher achievements. So then that's all number 8. Number 9 starts with Geshe Chikawa's quote.
What that Gubatinama the song was Gubatinama and the Tabata on the Abbot and the Mizita no what the Abbot and Nasu and the Juna some the Mala Jesu Marva. What the Jews in as with them. Tabata on the Abbot Tabata and the Abbotula and Magenta with the Abbot some Rota.
Other people.
Jesu Rajigua. What the Jews what they Gubal what they did was Chekai Shenes Katuji Rosu to Tanson Shuji never she Honas and Tabata Anuso what they Jen Tawaji got and Nezu Abujoma Hina Tazu Pabu Su Shawai Sombatan Shara Jene Jang and Chimba Leke Te Duso Kozan Chamba La Tena Passon Rodjon Arji Nyane Nemambana Rajonki Pacha Jugu Sons what the Gobalo Tendo Lusa Tabata Anu what they got there. Larabugu, they are working, Juba Abu, and a lot of Jenda Mibutag. Quabris and Tangaruta. Tenaji, Tabata and the Abu, you can learn what the Majenda attitude could not using out to Jonabi or Netu Tenaji Jean Gur is what they Juba Gubat Tang.
So number 9 now, as Geshe Chikawa said, if there is someone living as a sage in the valley of ascetics, then the father has fundamentally raised his child well. So this number 9 deals with if one has this life of an ordained person and then represents him or herself appropriately, then others will like what they see, aspire to become the same in the future, and rejoice in the good virtues that they are engaging in. So Shirawa said, when householders are very busy, you, monks, should dress nicely and visit them. they will then think the life of a renunciate is wonderful. This establishes in them a latent predisposition for a future life as a renunciate. So it leaves imprints within this householder's continuum to, in the future, want to become ordained. Okay. The Gongyal Mebachi. Just like if someone's very successful because they've gone to a specific school, then others will also want to go to that school because they see that this person has become successful because of going to this specific or particular college or school.
ne chinji ne ngobashunde chinji ne ngobashunde naji na de tabo shobanjurosa ode trabata anu yabu yoga yoba nga tende chika du jona nyabe sanlu tangures naji na de tabo shobanjuro da jan naji na genu jile dansa da jan an rod jone Traba jesa du wate genu le leka mombe je uro da genu je le da ane sojun traba sojun so do wate dawa shi sojun shao dawa shi se jonga lao so tabi do be sos ne dawa shabu jonga zalo sojun so traba da ane so wate donwa shoda da so de ne sojun shao dawa shi se jonga lao so tabi do be sos Nendawa sheche se chunga luwa te suzhung tsukures, suzhung kare tsukuresena, suzu tabi dondo, jigin don, jenda nye ures, suzhung ke le tang, suzhung tsunuwa te suzhung ke le che, tena gaye se na wate, iya dawa sunga rente le, hana hama jaga luwa te, gulung te iya ne se na, ruru che ne, ne chil tsu na wata jabu tsu jinda che tar menwa ne jabu tsu jinda che chaba ta anu se ne chil ya ne su ne dawa sun ne pele na dawa sun rang de ga mar ta dawa ni de chi de shiga jinda che wata ya ne su gur ya ne de ya ga rin de la ya ga rin de che be mo ndo ba ina na bo ta mo se ro ko ba ula ne wata chulu ta wara chabo ne ga yo ro wata ene na machil de na wote da so ya ne ba shaos wote ne ya ne so wote so ya ne bas ane ya ne na wote ya grin de le ne yongo ne tu kan ro guja jagta gaye ne chala tu ma jinda so pisha ba kan ba guja jagta guja e ba gaye da sa
this maybe yabuda this Mebachi. Indiqué d'un peu ni.
Je suis pas les gens d'argent. What the raison de son hag de cette marbe. Tu vas de la raison la hatus. Donc what the raison ya bacheda res. Haju do se what the trashu jen do what the raison la haju den bare. D'argent dōngai je ne je chin je ne ngoba shung des chin ne chin me ba ro du shung ne na ji na ane traba da anu so na ji nga ka du na nya be san tang bu re so ban je ro
okay
da ja na ji na ge ne je le da traba je sa du wo de ge ne ge su rung le da ga ye sa na da ge ne le mo bu ro ge ne je le da su rung le da na su rung tu da she je 수중 샤오 다시 세정하러 수수 타빈도 넘비 소스 아나 가이스 야 나오스모네들 가가로 젠데 아나 데데들 네 표현이 잘하는 걸 보고 자죠다 가이에 되네야 지질 조조지야 무슨 요새 다 가이스 동아 가이스 제 가이스니 요새 어떤 가이래 당하사 되는 Lubi le tala na banjo jane na rod shono wate tabi gani lelan never using Santana. They just a rodushun, you send la Gawasha was rodushun, send la Gabaji Wures. She Shanchu Sambachina, Nebe, Shanchu Sambachina, Nebe, the Pabashawa soon days. Shanchu Sambachimba to what the Malaja Wures, Masu Malaja the Joe, Shanchu Sambachimba to what the Malaja Wures. She Shanchu Sambachina, Nebe. Teta Pemba Shawa, soon days. Shanchu Samba Chimba to go to Malaja when Nangasu Malaja de. Then two Heba Mazubala, then two Heba Zubala, Heba son sauce. Tao Dombatala to Susutaba red jet and Euro. Gulum Pami Dombato the two wrote, Adote, Gulum Pami Dombal son dos. Then two Heba Zubala, Heba son sauce.
Okay. Neither true what? Kashi?
Yeah.
Gendungi le dang, sojungi le dang, gachi le dang, dupi le. The Yanjar Suralang, the Kuna.
Genuji le dang serva.
Okay, the NGK Dago, Kale Kale.
Angel Gardenu, Genuji le dang.
The Gendun le. The Gendun le.
Genu le Trabata Anna Jesadu, what the Goman Deba in a Gomba, what the Trabata Anzu Legayoro. Genuji le dance.
Okay, then eh?
Sujung le dance, what the Trabata Anzu, Dawashi Shell Sunsu.
Lasso.
Sunsu at Karasana, Dawashi Shell, and the Susu Domba Tamazuage. Sudatan, Tulu Chujubandabre. What the Sujung Shaw, Dawashi Sejungalo, Sosu Tabi Dudabis, what the Sujung could later.
The Sojungi le dance.
Sejung le dance, Nagai less, Yan Dawson rental, Tabata Anzuru Rojene, Nejil Degerta. Now Jagale to Jagal Jabasu Jindachi, and know what they. And they rental the chamber to get Tabatul Puja, Gay Tandula, Pakuja Jota. Zejikai, Tongu guys, and no one happens to Juju Jayore, Tijabadu, then those, and Tongu guys, what
okay. Okay, several chairs.
Then those of the Chichi Juju Jayore. Guys, Tongu guy, Zejikai, Jalakusha Jare, Tongu guys, or Churun Tonga Kusha, Chiza would punch you, Dulija Kajure.
Dupile.
Dubile that and
Dupile Nepar
Dubile that Suzuki, Tamaki Grunda, Tabagema Galo Kubaji Gumar, Dugurota. Suzu Tabagema to Kubaji, Shase, Telguro, Dubile is what to do. Lama Dua, Taba, Gibal Dua. The Ginger Dubile, tell a never, Jujane, Te Radu Shon Sella Gawas, Radu Sella, Gabachi, Swaji, the Son Loseta, Rajun Habajo Losere.
Okay.
Shanshu Sambachina Nebe, Tata Pabasha Sonde, then the two Hebazubala Pabasons, Hebazuba, Hedu, Galumpama. What the Sulmana about 2 songs those.
Okay. Yeah, it's something. Then the Juba?
Tata do the general the last one. Do the general chance, do the general, Josh among the Shanchutan, do the general, do Jen, Julama, Utanaji, and Chuinajis, and Shambi Chutanayama, do the general, do the general was Hazambijon and Sonre. Do the general John. Rodo Shon Yu Shutan, Rodo Shon Shutan, Rajon, Tabata Ansul Logoro. You did Seme not on dancer. Rodo Rabata Ansu, what you did Seme, but you did Mobu orders, Seme not a dan. Today, don't you Chimbane, today, don't you Chimbane, Ne Shanchu Sen Le, Shanchu Semba, Le Chepa Asa. she son sos, do the general genre, to show you shootaness, Trabat Anusula, you then see my yours, you then see me not a day. Tete, don't join chimbaness, and the Shantu sent me chimberton, chimber to the Rotuan, Monajo, Taman Rosuan,
Lesser.
what the lady can do.
Lesser.
Chimba ye, Shantu Samba le, Cheba, Shantu Samba le, Cheba, she son sos, Shantu Sambi Chimbale, Cheba. Ta gulon to Zuka, Shantu Sambi Chimbale, Cheba to Papa res.
Lesser.
Shantu Samba Chimbarota, Chimba Ko Shantu Sambarova.
Lesser.
Gulon to Zoteli Cheba to Papa res.
Lesser.
What the thing do on the time?
Jupa.
Ya Chuba.
Tsar. Jupa Tsar. Do the Jen Long, then Jupa Tsar.
What Chuba Sandre?
Okay. So now number 10 speaks of bodhisattvas who are householders should aspire to be ordained, even bodhisattva householders, because the ordained bodhisattva is a higher being than bodhisattva who is not ordained in a householder, right? The bodhisattvas who dwell in households should aspire in this way. And this is from the Questions of Householder Ugra Sutra. Householder bodhisattvas should think, when will I leave the household, an origin of suffering, and experience the life of renunciate? When will I rest in the actions of the community? So I'll just read it first. When will I rest in the actions of the community, the action of purifying and nurturing vows, the action of lifting restrictions, and the action of veneration? In this way, they should delight in the thought of being a renunciate. The passage states that bodhisattvas should principally aspire to full ordination. Furthermore, the ornament of Mahayana Sutra says the class of renunciates has limitless virtues. Therefore, the bodhisattva who observes vows is superior to one who is a householder. So just going back to this, it says, when will I rest in the actions of the community? So this is speaking of all of the activities that the spiritual community of monks and nuns do. So there's various work that they have to do, various prayers, activities, etc. they attend. So this is just speaking of abiding in that community and doing what others of that community do. And then the next it says, the action of purifying and nurturing vows. So the sojong is a way in which the vows can be restored for monks and nuns. It's done on the 15th day of the month. The tsepa jonga dang tsepa tama tsepa jonga kuna. Lesso, okay. Lesso. So there are actually 2 sojongs per month. But it's said the 15th day of the month is the actual sojong day. So the Daochi. Lesso. So sojong, when we look at the etymology, means purifying and restoring. Of the vows. So there's a purification of the misdeed and then a restoration of that which has been broken that takes place. And then also it says in nurturing the vows, there's what is called yarne, and it's usually historically for 3 months during the summer. But the pupa yarne, the Dao Chitan Cheka, that's it.
The
yarne, gonga mebachi, yarne dawa gatsi. Yene pupa?
Pupa, that what the chance on what the dodges and hell gauge.
Lesso, okay.
And then the house chason de hay.
Lesso.
Yan Dawson Ro. More in the Taba and the Rujena, Nyandu de, and Chu Lojonche, and what the Samarama to Sulcun, Samatu, Langal Junshun, Langazu, what the Mama Rovic help.
So traditionally, yarne lasts for a 3-month period of time. And all of the monks and the nuns, they stay in their communities and don't really go outside very far during that period of time. And it was so that during the season where there were a lot of floods and a lot of water, the rainy monsoon season, there were a lot of bugs, and they didn't want to step on or kill any of the bugs, so they stayed for those months actually just within the community so that they wouldn't have to worry about that. Now there are still some monks and nuns who observe the full 3 months. And during that time also, it said if there's a broken bridge, you should help the community fix it. If there's a broken road, you help them fix the road. So you're also not only the Kashe Densar, and so you're supposed to help in your community, in your just local community in any way that you can. And that's just for however many months the monastery or the monks of the community decide to have their yarne now. But some still do it for 3 months. So I'm going to stop here because it's time to take a break and hand out snack. Oh, it really is. So we'll take a short break.
It has the camera, but it has that thing, so it means that it's not making a big.
Okay. Okay. Now we've arrived at 11.
London Taras, London Lampat Marba, Lampat or London Tata, Sanju Ben Chuin, London Tata, Sanju Ben Chuin, or the Rajon de Chuin, Sonda Juro, London Najin, or the Tukujina Rajon Chuin, Son Yuares, and then Son de Badan, Din Chudan, what the Suju Gozo, Rajon Chuin, Bason dos, or the Jujiba Delegos.
Okay, so I have to go back just part of number 10. There was just a couple more points. So we have then, and still in number 10, we have the quote from the ornament of Mahayana Sutras, Mahayana Sutra Alamkara. So this is a text by Lord Maitreya, and it's among the 5 treatises on the levels. So we have the ornament. Something here. Okay, so we have the levels of yogic deeds. So this is why I'm in the wrong section. I'm like, these are not Maitreya's texts. I apologize, everyone. 5 treatises of Maitreya's doctrine. So we have the discrimination of phenomena and the nature of phenomena, discrimination of the middle way and the extremes, the ornament of the Mahayana Sutras, which is this text, the ornament for clear realizations, and the sublime continuum of the great vehicle. Jupa, the Kashe Lama Song, the Jupa Kashe Laku, Dene Juchi Gutsobere. So these are the 5 treatises of Maitreya's doctrine, and this ornament of Mahayana Sutras is the Chittamantran text written by Maitreya. The class of renunciate has limitless virtues, therefore the bodhisattva who observes vows is superior to the one who is a householder. This being the case, the life of a renunciate is praised for achieving the freedom that is liberation from cyclic existence. So that is where number 10 stops. Number 11 begins here. It says, in addition, it is taught that it is the best life, even for the accomplishment of omniscience by the way of the perfection and mantra vehicle. Perfection and mantric vehicle. So it doesn't matter what vehicle one is practicing of the Mahayana. It's necessary. The best case for achieving goals in any of those vehicles is if one is ordained. So if one is practicing the Kala Chakra Tantra, the best case would be if that person was ordained. And the Shanchu, the Garshani Landun, Lasun Rinpoche.
Landun tare, Landun tare, Nyanshi Bhagavate, Landun tare, Chanshu bin Chuyin Sayajuro. Samba Jobat Chud Jobares, Yajures, Landun tares, and what the Tukul, the Rojon, the Chuyin Song Yores, Landun tare, Chanshu bin Chuyin Sayajuro.
And then we find in the Kala Chakra Tantra where the importance of this is. And then in Jayan Sheba's commentary, it also speaks of Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment, where it speaks of the observing the highest form of morality is the form of the fully ordained monk or nun. So let me find it.
What is sugar galeta and
I thought it was when observing the London.
So
Rinpoche said just look at the, I know where it is too, it's just I'm not at this moment. Rinpoche said in the future, just look at
26.
26, thank you.
Yeah,
in the presence of the protectors, no. Anyway, so one can look at the Sanchu.
21.
That's Kalita Jimara.
It should be.
I think I'm supposed to say liberation by blessings was pure conduct said to be the God of the fully ordained.
That you should do the card, you should.
Verse number 21, it's on page 26.
Verse number 21, page 26.
Okay, the Tathagata. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Am I correct?
Just needed Stasha here. The Tathagata spoke of 7 kinds of the individual liberation vow. The best of these is glorious pure conduct, said to be the vow of the fully ordained person. Rasa. That is where Jayan Sheba says Atisha in the lamp references the point that's being made here. And then we also again find this in the Kala Chakra Tantras as well. Then Juchi Kaba Kagadu.
La Chuji Tere, Sheso, Tatana Wolia, Chin Jibatin Washi, Tatana Koa Lesat, Tatana Koa Tatas Lesman, Juji no Tamadre, Tatana Koa Tayu, Nandu Drubala, then Rodujon Habamazes, Padu de Shimbatan, Haji Tibi Gune, Nanchen Drubalaya, Ne Rodujon, then Chutu Son Las, Rodujon Dombane, Domba Sonji Nane, Susutaba, Ni Yembe, Tembi Tawa, Susutaba La Koba Shaw, so what the Jujibatre.
Juchipa.
Jujibatre.
Okay. Then the number 11 is just ends, I guess, the rest of this. Because there are 11 categories. And so 11, in addition, it is taught that the best life, even for the accomplishment of omniscience by way of the perfection and mantra vehicles. Furthermore, among the 3 sets of vows, it is the vows of the renunciate that are vowed. What is this saying? It is the vows of the renunciate that are the vows of individual liberation. Therefore, you should respect the vows of individual liberation, the root of the teaching. And Rinpoche previously mentioned the individual liberation vows there are 8, 7 lifetime, but really primarily the best, and what we're speaking of here is that of the fully ordained monk and nun.
What that Tenchitabu Koduba, Lanchitabu Koduba, and Tenchitabu Koduba, Juji Sare.
Okay.
Ta Lanchitabu Koduba, Lendrita, Lanchitabu Kodubas.
Less so. Okay, so when we look at this, going back to the categories of this section, we have the kind of life you lead in order to halt cyclic existence. We've just completed that with the Jayan Sheba's 11 categories. Now we move on to the next category, which is the kind of path you cultivate to halt cyclic existence.
다 란체 답이 고도 받으려고 long was on the Sanjo was Tambaje. Then the Labo was Sajini, was Sajini, and the long was on the launch W. Tang as a quality, Lance and Tamara, Tangas and the Ma. Then the Susu non was a language or this was London Rana, Susu non Lego as a lance and Lavo Marvelan. Land Jansen Yalajeval, then Tabal Lego as a Tabilan. Sanji Gubun Tuguesa, Sanji Lance, what in the Silver Marbe, on the Tat Landele, Labas on the race, Sutinji Laba, Tingazi Laba, Shedaji Laba, Son the Rendo, Lanji Tabu Dubas, what the Land Labason Leden, Labason, and then what they got to magic Shinjeba in the Zuba Tamaji Gure, Sutinji Ledamba, Tingazi Bomba Temba, Shedaji Tunja Temba. Tosun Labason Jonsuna, and the Kuza the June, Yamon call Tatures, what till he had at Atlanta, till the Labason let it do.
And A1 Yi?
Yavani. Quaduban long was on the Sanjo was Dambache, Nibaten La Pobas. Sajini Digdo Sajini.
Den La Pa. Nipa the Donagar Sin.
Niba Den La Povata, Lance Yongulan.
Explanation of that. Okay, so there's two categories in here. First, the kind of what kind of path, and then the path itself is explained. So the first is like the kind of path that's needed, and then the actual how it's practiced is number two. So the first category gets into the three highest higher trainings. So first we need to look at what the word path is referring to, or also could be translated as the road. So if one is taking a path or a road, they're going somewhere. So we would say this is the road or the path that leads here or there. In this case, the kind of path that we're speaking of is a road or path that leads to various spiritual goals. So the road or path that leads to liberation, the road or path that leads to Buddhahood. So that's what path or road is referring to. And this case, and we get into first the explanation of the three highest higher trainings, because these highest higher trainings allow us to get rid of cyclic existence when practiced. So we have the highest higher training in ethics, the highest higher training in concentration, and the highest higher training in wisdom. And the comparison is made to the act of cutting down a tree when we look at these three highest higher trainings. It's necessary to have all three in order to achieve that state of liberation. If any of them are missing, it's not possible to achieve that state. Just like if all of these three things aren't present in this example, one can't cut down a tree. So in order to cut down a tree, it's necessary first to have a stable body, a basis. So that stable body, that basis that's needed, is compared to the ethics, the highest higher training ethics, which serve as this foundation. But just a stable body is not enough. One would need an arm that would actually cut the tree down. So this arm is compared to the highest higher training in concentration. But just an arm and a basis or a body is not enough to cut a tree down. One would need some kind of a saw. And then the saw is compared to the highest higher training in wisdom. So by when one has a saw and an arm and a stable basis, one can cut down a tree. Likewise, if one has the highest higher training in ethics, concentration, and wisdom, one can get rid of cyclic existence and achieve the state of liberation through those practices. So those are pathways which lead to liberation. So now we arrive at this section that explains the three highest higher trainings.
long also the change was Tambudre. Niba La Chetabu she gombe Dubane, shitinless, shiting Obluduro, shitinle, Nengon Gula, Lobur Meshuna, Tada Shindu, Jewatane Jang, Yansi Meba, Jile Besete, Tele Chichu Guba, Jemachi. Chudi Tatan, Shira, Santen Dance, Chudi Jilaba, Shira Jilaba, Tingan Jilaba, Sun Lady Gudua, Santen J, Nyande, Nyange, Lende, Nyange, Deje, Dua Tremepe, Gobum Maga, Meche, and Semete, Sajumalon, Nyenda, and Tetu to Jason Batara, Jason Batter, Labara Majisula, Logos, Tella Habara Majisula, Logos, what about the Tomadre? Long was once. Things at it.
Okay, so this first category of kind of path, in the Tibetan, we have this outline, this explanation has 3 parts. I don't see it in here, so it might, so that's why we're not going over it. I'm not omitting it, I don't see it in this. It goes right into the letter to a friend, Nipo, I believe. The first category is this quote from Letter to a Friend. It's the kind of path. What kind of path do you need? So it says, train in the path which is the threefold precious training. The friendly letter. Were your head or clothing suddenly to catch fire, you should still set aside extinguishing these fires and strive to eradicate birth. There is no purpose higher than this. Through ethical discipline, concentration, and wisdom, so here are those 3 higher trainings, achieve nirvana, an undefiled state of peace and restraint, ageless, deathless, inexhaustible, free from earth, water, fire, wind, sun, and moon. The giant Sheba? So Tamu Chidiro, Tani Tinga de Jilaba, Tani Shera Jilaba, Tasum to Corinte, Tamu Chudi Labare, Tela Dena Tinga de Jilaba Yungware, Tela Dena Shera Jilaba Yungware, Corinte, Nipa, Sumba, the Chuni,
Ta Sumba de Wate, Sumba de Labason Rajim Marbe, Labason Chudi Jilaba the Candere, Tinga de Jilaba the Candere, and then Shera Jilaba Candere,
Rajin Seni,
Tajani changes what the Taji Ulma,
Jipa,
Chutin, Jenny changes what the wool, Chutin Jilaba Dudijin Wajindu, Wool, Larisham Wool, Sukaleta Chura.
Jima Chinjo Ale, the Becha Kermas, the Becha Nipa.
Chutin Laba Dudijin Wajindu.
Okay, so Jipa, Suchindi Lapa Dudushe, Jipa the Donagare. Jipa Donagare.
Jipa the Chutin Jilaba, the Chutin from Mason Yeme, what the Wuluswa, what the
Okay. So the kind of path you cultivate to halt cyclic existence, Rinpoche said there are 4 categories. Here it says it's explained in 3 parts. So the first is the certainty of the enumeration of the 3 trainings. So are there definitely 3 higher trainings? Could there possibly be a 4th or less? So here there's proof and points made to show why there are 3 higher training, no more, no less. The next is the determination of the order of the 3 trainings. So do the higher trainings follow some kind of an order? And the answer is yes. Dependence upon the higher training in ethics, highest higher training and concentration arises. And dependence upon the highest higher training and concentration, the highest higher training and wisdom arises. So there is a relationship of interdependence when we look at these highest higher trainings, where the training before serves as a basis for the training that follows. So there's a cause and effect relationship there. And then the nature of the three trainings. So what is the highest higher training in ethics? How do you define it? What exactly does that mean? And then the same would be for the highest higher training in concentration, the highest higher training in wisdom. And then number 4, Rinpoche is saying that it's later on in the Lamrim, and it deals with, I think it's in the next, it can't be though, let me see if there's another outline over here. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry.
Long also the Sanjo Telpova Niji, that number Telpova Tela, Chang Abatan, Kuring Abatan, Rajin Dan, Jenny Changes,
Jenny
Jenny Ulumandu.
Jenny Chenjor.
That number Chudinji Labala, Nasa, Chudinji Labala.
So these are the 4th is other points about these trainings. We'll call it that just for now, just to have a 4th category, and when we get to it, we'll make sure that that's correct.
Number Chudinji Labala, Naji, Chang Abate,
Lesso.
Chang Abanes, and Sendu Rebalatin, Habason the Chang Agres, Sendu Rebalatute, Habasuma to Gomares, Sendu Rebalatine, Habason the Chang Agres, Sendu Rebalatute, Habason the Candes Chang Agres, then it is that Sendu Rebalatine, Tambo, Sendu Rebala Tubi Changanes, Tambo, Sendu Rebala Tubi Changanes, Senaba Maiba, and Senaba Iwa Member Shebane, Senaba Iwa Member Shebate, Chudinji Labares, Chudinji Laba, Senaba Iwa Member Shebane, Chudinji Laba, Tamboje, Chudinji Labaje, Taniba de Chudinji Laba, Niba, Senaba Majaba, Senaba Majaba, Juba. Dingenji Laba dansa. Senyaba Majaba, Nyaba Jaba Jubane, Dingenji Laba. Dingenji Laba Latene, Senyaba Jaba Tungoro, Dingenji Laba Tungores, Sen Madua Sheba La, Sheraji Laba Tesa, and Sen Madua, Tua Shebas, Sen Madua Takaru, Nyumubi Tibatan, Shiji Tibatu Mabumbola, Moya de. Ne shero jilaba guru tuni to be shero latene and what the nyomobati shi de babun guru tuni to be shero latene nyomobati shi de babun guru da sema do shebala shero jilaba des shero jilaba do sendu mala dene labasun to janga bi deres da sendu mala dene labasun to janga jude tamu chudin jilaba Sendu Rebalatin Jangane, Senaba Iwa Meba Shebane, Chudinji Labares, Chudinji Laba de Yuna, Senaba Maiba Sheba de Yungres, Taniba Tingaji Laba de Yuna, Senyaba Jaba de Yungres, Senyaba Majaba, Naba, Juban Tingaji Laba dance, Sen Madrua, Sen Yumobatan, Shiji Jubal Madrua, Tua Sheba de Tuni to Shero. Shiraji Labares, Shiraji Laba, Tony to be Shero Latene, and know what the Yomo was the shade of Mondoro. Taba Druma Embassy Lola Dene, Taba Drenzi Lol Yabdoro, Tenaji, Tony to be Shero Telatene, and then Dazin Yabdore, Dazin the Yabdo do, Dazin Devo, Yomo Bata, Dugan Yabdoja, the Bada, Joashibate. Tesunchi, Nanjuba Naji, Jawataji. Duba Yu Shiro Tambuji, Sendu Rebala Jangan Tambudre.
Okay, so the stages of disciplining the mind. So we have the certainty of the enumeration of the three trainings. It says this is explained in terms of three aspects: the stages of disciplining the mind, the results, and the objects they eliminate. So here we have the stages of disciplining the mind. So here is the three trainings bring to completion all the tasks of yogis and yoginis as follows. The training in ethical discipline makes a distracted mind undistracted. The training in concentration or mental training balances an unbalanced mind. The training in wisdom liberates an unliberated mind. So the ethical discipline serves to make it so the mind is undistracted, so that one is able to concentrate. And then utilizing that concentration, he or she can then point it at the topic or subject emptiness, and then be able to become liberated. So these three higher trainings are all necessary to practice in the order that they are, in order for the realizations to take place, because they rely on one another. When we look at the training in wisdom liberates an unliberated mind, this wisdom is the wisdom that realizes the lack of true establishment of phenomena. So it's that realization of lack of true establishment that allows one to get rid of the root of negativities. Just like in the example of the snake, the rope in a dark room is mistaken for a snake. The only thing that will serve as an antidote to that mistaken conception and the emotions that arise from it is the realization that it's a rope. Likewise, one needs to recognize that things are not truly established in order to get rid of the negativities that error in conception causes. Let's see.
Debi latang meni teres, suti manyana debi lali chegre, debi meli chegres, debi denu yin las, nyamba jabin debune, suti nyabin debune, nyawa yida denu song chendegres, debune nganru os, sen nyaba jabin debune, kang gomi denu yin sos, sen nyaba jabin dingen gomi debutele, zodo zume la, lali chegres. Shiraji labi debune tabates, Shiraji labi debute, don't to be Shiraju Yabayina, and then your mumbi taba yungres, tabate. Dona, Roja want to tangele, Dona, Roja de la want to tangele ni yores. Ne, Matus and Lata make what marve, Nelis and Tabat Jamba. Hamala, Kongo, Giduni Yubis. Ngatu tala na khang komi den zo to zo me momi den de bi la da me hamala khang ko ge den ni yebes ne ti roji jang song mos roji da wa de la ba son dres tu di la ba ten ji la ba shara ji la ba song mos tenye ne sa yu ma ji song sos on de su song do ko ka ba yes na Pepin Baba told me, Sai Mojil Sai Mojil what about the Saint Debula
Okay, so now, so we've completed this stages of disciplining the mind. And this is all under the category of certainty of enumeration of the three higher training. So the next category deals with the results of this certainty of enumeration. So it's really like the stages of disciplining the mind, showing the certainty of the enumeration of the three trainings, and then the results of this certainty, what happens because it's certain in this way. And there's one other thing. I'll remember it. Let me just keep going. So there are results. The results of ethical discipline that have not degenerated are the two happy rebirths of the desire realm, either as a human or a deity. The result of ethical discipline that has degenerated is rebirth in the miserable realms. The results of the training of the mind are the two happy rebirths of the higher deities, form or formless. So these parentheses things Rinpoche filled in. They're not in the text, but Rinpoche filled them in as well. So that's part of his commentary. Deities, so what this is referring to are those two realms, form and formless, that are not part of the desire realm. The result of the training in wisdom is liberation. In brief, the results of the three trainings are the two goals: high status as a human or deity, and certain goodness of liberation and omniscience. So those categories Rinpoche also filled in and gave that commentary. Since the former is twofold, happy rebirth in the higher deities realms and happy rebirth in the lower, that is desire realm, the trainings that accomplish these are threefold. Therefore, The trainings that accomplish these are threefold. These first two certainties of enumeration are mentioned in the levels of yogic deeds. So where is this information from? It's from Master Asanga's text, the levels of yogic deeds, where we find these results of this enumeration presented. Diksam Rinpoche.
다 송바드 본자 녀물라 되는 하바송도 장애 받으래. 본자 녀물라 되는 하바송 가르쳐 장애 그래서나 고만 나는서 개박 고마 집어당 고마 개박 가마수 본자 녀물라 되는 장 송도 제대사 본자 녀물라 되는 장 하바송도 장애 받으게 노스 송도 제대 녀무 선지 받을 추진지 라바레스 추진지 라발을 되는 녀무 선지도 그래서 해야다. 먼저 원고냐 봐. 너무 먼저 원고냐 봐대. 띵은지 라바레스. 사번 때네 봉화. 사바서 뭐 사번 때네 봉화데 싫어질라 봐. 돈이도 싫어도 맨나 녀모가 시지도 봐. 바자도 좀 봉도 말어. 녀모가 녀모고 사번 봉도 말어. 바자 봉도 말어. 어때 싫어를 라바레스. 싫어질라 봐를 때네 녀모가 시지도 봐. 자와네 봉비 타바던 타지셔 봐요. 그래서 어디 차네 사바송도 장애가 두스 개방 하마수 송도사.
So now we get into the objects that are eliminated. So it says the former teachers asserted that in relation to the objects they eliminate, the afflictions, the trainings are threefold, according to whether they eliminate afflictions by weakening them, suppressing their manifest forms, or eradicating their seeds. So saying that all of the scholars previously stated this, and that these three highest higher trainings serve to eradicate the afflictive obstructions and then serve to eradicate those obstructions to omniscience. Because without these three highest higher trainings, it's not possible, because it's necessary when we see this enumeration and this cause and effect relationship to have this wisdom, to have the highest higher training in wisdom. And that can't be accomplished without the two prior trainings. And the root of cyclic existence is this misconception that grasps at things as being truly established. So the only way to get rid of that is the wisdom, this highest higher training in wisdom. So in order to get rid of the afflictions and their seeds, this wisdom is indispensable.
어딜 하바송도 장애들 때는 생두에 발되는 장애바 레벨에 되는 장애바 본자에 되는 장애바 송사송마.
Less so.
단니바 고랭에 바로 고랭. 다음부터 가르 니바 가르 송바 가르 고레스나 고랭도 다음부 추진지라바 니바 땡은지지라바 송바 싫어지라바 용거레스다.
So we have these categories now that we've gone over. The stages of disciplining the mind, the two are put together somehow. It's the certainty of enumeration. The stages of disciplining the mind, I don't know how you put them together. According to the certainty of the enumeration of the three trainings, the results of the certainty of the enumeration of the three trainings, and the objects that the certainty of the enumeration of the 3 trainings eliminated. I think that's how it would be put together. So we've completed that section, and now we get into the determination of the order of the three trainings. Why are these trainings put in this specific order? Karma ni yure ninsar. Okay. Everyone listened so well today. I think that we'll stop class here. We only have a minute and a half anyway. And so everybody gets a big break. We'll stop class here since everyone listened so well, and we'll continue this in the future. So in order to really arrive at the understanding of this information, one first has to listen very well. And so that's what we've done today. In order for us to know what the meaning of the Kanjur and Tanjur are, the pronouncements of Lord Buddha, and those authentic Indian commentaries, even though they're in Tibetan, it would be very difficult, but we find all the meanings and the points of the Kanjur and Tanjur all in this text. So it's like studying those classic texts. It's the same as studying those classic texts. Thank you very much. So we'll do a concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. To whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness, all-powerful Avalokiteshvara, Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara is done. Pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Rinpoche, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trains extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts, exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tu Jirun Shekusi Shapi Denrama.